Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl. Oh, I hate that kind of, it's Shamanda. Welcome back. Okay, anyway, today I'm going to do a story time for you guys. I want to tell you guys all about how I went from being a high school dropout to, as of today, I'm officially a doctoral student. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So listen guys, today is a very important day, very important day for me. Today is day one of my doctoral program, my PhD. I am pursuing a PhD in counselor education and supervision with a specialization in trauma and crisis. So I'm very excited. My dissertation should be about or focus on cinema therapy, which is basically utilizing movies and films and content in therapy sessions. So I'm very excited about today, which led me to think about the fact that I was a high school dropout with 2 children at the age of 20. Actually at 19 I had 2 children, but I graduated with my high school diploma at 20 when I had my 2 children. So I am super excited, and I really wanted to take this opportunity to tell you guys about my journey from being a high school dropout to a doctoral student. So hang here with me. All right, so I always say, don't ever judge people based on, just kind of how they look or what you hear about them, because you never know what their backstory is. For me, I was an A honor roll student. I was in college courses in high school, like the AP, advanced placement classes. I was in all of that when I was in high school. And I was pretty much an introvert. I stayed home all the time. I watched Lifetime movies. Like, that was me. I was nerdy. I stayed at home and read books. I didn't go out and party and all that. So that was not me. So it's very interesting how I ended up getting pregnant, and that's a whole nother story. But once I met, I do this clicking thing with my pen. You know what else is that? Once I met my children's father, I guess I just kind of, like a lot of young women, they kind of forget about everything else and they get so bogged into that relationship. And that's what happened to me. And before I knew it, with my son, I was in my junior year. I think I was, complete my junior year, and I just stopped going because I wanted to be with him all the time, and he wanted me with him all the time, so I just was with him. And he had already dropped out of high school, and so we were just out and about doing stuff. Like, the interesting thing is that it never really hit me that I was repeating a cycle. My mom she had dropped out of high school and gone back to complete her high school diploma at the community college, where I'm going to tell you guys about shortly. When she had her 3rd child, which is my baby brother, and then she went back and completed, and then she went to cosmetology school, but she stopped going there and stopped doing that as well. I guess to take care of us and to be a young wife. So, and then my father, I think he dropped out in early high school. So what I realized after I had dropped out of high school was that, oh my God, I'm repeating a cycle. Like, literally, both my parents had stopped going to school. And my mom, she eventually finished her high school diploma, but she didn't go to college. She didn't finish college. And so I just realized it was something I wanted to do, something that was important to me, because if I didn't do that, then I was going to be obviously repeating this cycle, but also, pretty much setting my children up to do the same thing. And I didn't want to do that to them. And I felt like I owed it to them. And I thought about, like, okay, how am I gonna, whenever they're older, how am I gonna tell them to go to school? Better go to school today, better do your homework, if I hadn't finished high school myself. Like, okay, come on, hypocrite. Like, no. So I was like, I have to do this. And I knew that if I didn't do it, I was gonna be stuck working a job that I didn't want to work or something like that. Which brings me to going even further back and think about how my grandparent and look at their career. My grandfather's, for example, he worked for the health department for 30-something years. I remember when he retired after 31 years of service from the health department. And I remember, I think a few times when I was younger, we went and saw him or something, and I remember it might have been some pictures I saw. I don't remember. I was really young, but I know it was like he was. That's when I realized he was like a janitor, a custodian, or something like that, right? And no disrespect to people who serve in those roles, because we need those people, and that's like so important, definitely. But he was a musician. That's what his passion was. That's what he really wanted to do. But I think he kind of took on that job to provide for his family. He and my grandparents had 8 children. My grandmother, had 8 children total. But I think about the fact that my grandfather, he swept floors and mopped floors and cleaned toilets for a living for 31 years, right? And then my grandmother, she worked in a hog factory where they slaughtered pigs and made like liver mush and hot dogs and stuff like that. And she told me she picked cotton, and I remember her picking like this man had hired her, and some of my family members too. Like, I remember this when I was a little girl. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I think he was like, for like $20 a bag, I'll pay you $20 a bag, basically to go pick collards or whatever it was out of his garden. And I remember them getting so excited about that. And I was excited too. I was just a little girl, but I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna get some money. But I'm just thinking, in hindsight, I was thinking about that, like, how, like, the level of poverty to, like, get excited about that. Like, that's just my perspective about that, I am a first-generation college student. I'm the only person in my family that has gone off to graduate from college. I think there might have been one person, not sure if he did or not. I'm not sure. But I'm the first graduate level student, or graduate in my family. And then, for me, I always wanted a professional career. I wanted licenses and credentials and stuff like that. I wanted an office job. I wanted to not follow in those footsteps. I didn't want to work in a factory. That wasn't what I wanted. My family was working class, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what I didn't want. That I wanted something different. And for the most part, except for my grandparents, I saw most of my family members on government assistance, and I wanted something different. Then I didn't want to continue that on. I didn't want my children to have to be dependent, and I knew that if I didn't break that cycle, then they would continue that cycle. We would continue on. So today is very important because I feel in some ways I am the answer to my grandparents and my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents, to their prayers. I'm sure a lot of them didn't want to work the jobs they worked, if they were domestics, if, obviously down further on the line, slaves, like, here I am being able to pursue a professional career, to be a professor, to have the title of doctor in a few years. That's such an honor, even getting my bachelor's degree, getting my master's, all that it was just a step toward where I am now. And literally, earlier today I was crying. Like, I cried because it really hit me for the first time. Like, Shamanda, you're about to, like, literally in short years, you're gonna be Dr. Shamanda, like, and you were a high school dropout. This is not supposed to happen, but only by the grace of God. Like, you were literally able to change the trajectory of your life and where it was going based on where I'm from and my environment and my family history. I'm supposed to be a baby mama. I'm supposed to be dependent on welfare. I'm supposed to be maybe working like a dead-end job and living paycheck to paycheck. Like, that's supposed to be my life based on the statistics, based on where I'm from, my family history, everything. That's who I'm supposed to be. But I'm the complete opposite of all of that, and it's only by the grace of God. I give God all the glory for that, and I'm so grateful. So today is just such a remarkable day, and I'm so grateful. And I just really want to take a moment to share that with you guys, like how I was a high school dropout, literally. A high school dropout, 2 kids, and that would have been completely normal based on where I was from. but I wanted something different. And it honestly just came from me changing my mind and deciding to do something different, deciding to be more, deciding to be better, deciding that I want my children to have better and more. And I didn't want to set them up for failure. Like, if I stayed content and complacent, then they would never have known that there's more to life. I remember some days we would get in the car, and I lived like a street away from the country club, and the houses in the country club area. And I'd get in the car and I'd drive my children around, and we'd look at the big houses, and I would tell them, one day we're gonna have a big house like this. That's what I would do. And we lived in a Section 8 house. Like, Section 8 paid for our house, our rent, while I was going to school. So I'm just grateful that it's been 6 years, over 6 years since I've had any government assistance programs. And again, only by the grace of God and just the determination to do better and want more. So if you're watching this and you have a similar story, you come from a similar family background or environment, just know that it's possible. It's not easy, and you just have to remember what your why is and why you want more and why you want to be different, and not allow other people to judge you and say, oh, you think you better, who you are, you bougie, whatever. Okay, call me what you want, but yes, I do. Yes, I sure do, you know. And that's okay, seriously. Because one day, my great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren will be able to say, Mama Amanda, that sounds so crazy to say, but Mama Amanda was a doctor and a professor, and she produced movies and wrote books, and she helped people, and because of her, you know, we have this and we have that, you know. And being a Black woman, that's even more like powerful to me. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunities, and I appreciate everybody who has supported me and who continues to support me and believe in me and encourage me, because it's not easy. It would be so easy to be just somebody's wife or somebody's and no disrespect to that, but like somebody's like a celebrity's girlfriend or something like that. But instead, I choose to use my brain. I choose to use my intellect and and get my education and pursue my own career, my own goals, and not be like a trophy wife or something like that. It's not something I want to do, but I could do that easily. And so women out there, young women out there, choose differently. You don't have to choose that route. Create something of your own. All right, guys. I want to let you guys know that as for today, to celebrate today, I'm going to be offering 10 of my books on sale for $19.99. And of course, every time you purchase a book or anything from my store or anything like that, then you are supporting me being able to produce more films. I only have 10 books available, so get them while you can. And it's on my website, www.shamandaburston.com. And leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Did you graduate from high school? Did you drop out? Did you graduate from college? What's your story? All right, send this to anybody who might need to see this and who might find this motivational and may just need to hear this. All right, guys, I thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See ya.